Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Chemda, I want to do a little public service announcement. My computer has been shutting down for the longest time on its own, losing scary stuff.
Like random times.
I happened to just change out my mouse, because why not? Everything's perfect.
I don't like that you're saying that. You've been perfect for an hour so far.
That's great.
Go 24 hours. Why are you so confident?
Because
like in life in general.
It would have shut down 10 times by now.
It is because everything works out for you, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very odd.
How you holding up? Jesus Christ. You see an Instagram picture of a waterbed, you think everything's fine, right?
Everything's fine.
Well, anyway, I'm happy, Chemda.
I'm glad you're happy.
Okay?
I'm
you
just nervous.
You have something to do with this computer, so maybe, share the happiness. All right.
I'm so sorry I wasn't happy in time.
Well, I'm thrilled. A lot of emails already about the emails between fake Catherine and my father that we were talking about yesterday. Very exciting stuff. As I said, I'm going to chill for a while, and I am debating when he follows up. Usually it's just back and forth. If he follows up on himself, I may just say, hey, it's me, Keith. I think I'm going to take a break.
Come on. No.
Then you got to give me email suggestions.
Fine.
KeithandTheGirl.com/forums. You can give email suggestions. There's nothing I need to know about my dad anymore.
You need to stop. You are so broken that we need to, you guys, you need to help him. If it's on the forums that he wants it. He's faking emails pretending to be his ex-wife talking to his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Please do not let this psychotic break end. Have some questions. I will certainly think about it if that's what it takes.
Now, between the computer news and these emails and Chemda's reaction, I hope the audience finally gets who was the more stable one. Okay? If you go to KeithandTheGirl.com/store, you'll see my book, The Great American Novel, and you'll get the history of myself, my father, everything in my life before age 30. You can see that it's available for ebook, Kindle, paperback, audiobook. I say that's the way to go. At KeithandTheGirl.com/store also is this little teaser.
In a literary wasteland,
Yeah, that's great. Write a story about it. Ready to give your order?
one author rises above the rest.
I'm not like these animals, baby.
Keith Malley weaves a masterpiece of unprecedented depth.
Fucking little children. Why men are superior to women and periods.
Violence,
The cutter-uppers.
sex,
I'm here with you. Keep sucking.
Ew.
drama,
Fuck your mother for not aborting you. I what?
philosophy,
Oh, your feeble minds couldn't even begin to comprehend.
passion.
Fuck you across the street. Fuck you.
Triumph of the written word, says acclaimed literary critic Fucko290 of the Keith and the Girl forums.
I can do anything. I win again.
The Great American Novel by Keith Malley.
I was in jail for nothing. Nothing but some funny stories, that is.
Available in print and as an audiobook at KeithandTheGirl.com/store.
Okay, first I'll eat breakfast, shower, put on something cool and loose, pay some bills over the internet, and then I'll go outside on the street, and I'm going to act crazy. I think I'm going to act crazy. Today's a me day. Anyway, I'm very gay, and take care of yourself. Be well.
So there it is.
You're so crazy. I forgot how animated you were in your own audio book.
Yeah, and I can't believe it was all one take. So KeithandTheGirl.com/store, you'll see it right there. I'm very, very proud of it.
And also, I think it explains you a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's your voice, like literally we're listening to you tell the story, but the cutter-uppers, when you're around your brothers, they do it the same cadence, the same everything. And your feeble mind couldn't even begin to understand. That is not paraphrasing. It is not any other lyric and any other melody. That is how his father says that. Because when all 5 of those kids get together and somebody starts that sentence, it is a choir. And if anyone goes in a different pitch, it's only to harmonize. Right. But it's, your feeble mind couldn't even begin to understand.
Yeah, when I wrote this book, sometimes I'll read books and, they quote people, true stories. And I'm like, how do you remember? That was 20 years ago. My family was so messed up that I deliberately ran to a word processor each time. And then years later, I'll edit it. I'm like, no, these quotes are quotes. I promise you. Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest, my favorite and yours, starred and co-produced the feature film Bad Batch, star of the comedic documentary Burning Daylight. You remember, she traveled this country 2,000 miles to get to see what's out there. Saw it's horrible. Came back to New York immediately. Host of the comedy show Homespun Comedy at QED, Jessica Watkins.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Your feeble mind couldn't even begin to understand.
Probably. Now, my dad was very clear. He's smarter than me, and that happened since age 2.
He was so proud of being smarter than the 5-year-old.
Yes, he
I
was.
mean, it didn't take much. It's Keith, right?
Thank you. Did I see, by the way...
Is that your dad?
Did I see that you are off Twitter? Is this true or not true?
No.
You're on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, kind of. I mean, I'm not tweeting all the time, but I'm there, baby.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have a house meeting later on. Anyway, I do know, of course, you're still on Instagram. I'm seeing right? Couple of thirst traps. You're out there.
I mean, you know, you want to give the fans something.
I saw your titties and it was great.
It was a peer pressure situation. All
No,
right?
it wasn't.
It was. I was shooting someone else, and then I just, took my top off, and the picture came out. It was pretty good. I was like, I can't post this. And they're like, but your smile. And I was like, but my tits. And
It was a good smile.
Fuck it. And then it got like 600 likes. So I was like, well, I mean, at least it's better than,
Now you
nothing.
You're on Tinder, right? You're playing around.
I'm playing the field, man.
Yeah,
I'm single for the first time in my entire adult life in the last 5 months.
You doing a couple one-offs, couple one-time pumps?
I'm more than a couple, I'd say.
Wow.
Sorry. Okay.
I'm curious.
Get stalked after this.
So you're enjoying being single?
I am.
That's cool.
I feel like it's interesting. It's very different because I'm a serial monogamist. I've been in 5 long-term relationships. So like anytime I meet someone, you have a connection, and then it's just like, boom, we're together. And now it's like, boom, I'll see you in a week and a half.
Cool.
Let's hang out again.
And you have people in your life that you do want to see in a week and a half?
Yeah, I've got like a little Rolodex,
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
Cool.
I mean, just kidding, people. If anyone's listening, you're the only one. And
but are you even saying you're the only one?
no, of course not. I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Has there been weirdness? Because when I dated,
my God, so much.
Is there? Because when I dated, it was understood I was dating, but if they found out,
oh, not weirdness with dating other people.
Okay.
No, because I'm not seeing anyone. Like, I don't want to spend more than like I'm not staying the night with people. I'm not a sociopath.
Oh, I see. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I do sometimes, but I'm not like seeing people. Like when you meet someone, you like, and you're falling in love. You want to see them like all the time, every second, every day.
Right.
I'm not there. I'm just like playing the field.
Okay, like there's never been hassle. Somebody left an umbrella behind, and the guy's like, "What's this? Obviously male umbrella."
No, I mean I purposely live bobby pins and hair ties around just to
Do you?
Yeah, just fuck with people.
That is a thing, right?
No, I'm kidding.
I'm not kidding. I knew when I dated, I knew women were deliberately sometimes leaving things around.
No, well, I mean, yeah, probably women you were dating, but no, I don't know. I don't do that. I feel like we're all adults.
That's really childish. Because if you don't want to see me again, please throw out whatever the fuck is at your house, or mail it to me, or I'll stop by when you're not there. I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't have to see me if you don't. Ew.
If you get out of a guy's bed, you're leaving for the morning, let's say.
Yes.
And you happen to notice maybe you left one of your hairs on your head on his pillow. Do you take the time to clean up, or you're like, okay, whatever?
Hair? No, like that's on him.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Hair tie.
Right.
Right. Leave a little underwear stuffed in a pillowcase or something.
I think it's okay to see evidence that there were other people of the opposite sex or whatever
Totally.
it is. I think
there's a difference between happenstance and...
Well, it's disrespectful if you're leaving somebody else's dirty underwear that you forgot to even check the bed for. Like, stuff like that. Like, stuff that it's like, well, you could be a little more subtle and clean your bed.
When I dated, I'm thinking of... and this happened with more than one woman. In the fun of passion, she'd take off her clothes or an earring and really throw them across the room. And I'm like... Slow down. We have to get those. I'm counting rings. That was one. Ting, ting, ting. Two.
Who's throwing their rings across the room?
We get passionate.
Wow.
Yeah. But I wonder, like, is that
I
you?
thought I liked this art. Get it off my finger now.
I'm just like, no, I'm going to fold the clothes nicely, and I'm going to stick all my belongings in my bag. Thank you. And I'll try and be out of here before you wake up. So.
Okay. Do you sneak out?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't like when people... I don't like when people stay over at my place and they overstay the welcome, but people usually get the hint. I've got my dog, so like that's the hint. Like we're gonna walk the dog.
Oh, like
So,
after sex?
Time to go.
We're gonna walk the dog to the subway like that.
We're gonna walk the dog to the Uber or wherever the hell you're going. You ain't gotta go home, but you can't stay here.
Right.
Are you dating comics at all?
I plead the fifth.
That what? 5 of them?
I plead the I've never dated comics, but now I'm single, so I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah, I need a detective over here. Figure out your fucking comics. Were you a bartender or just a waitress?
Kind of both.
Just a
I still
waitress.
am. Yeah, I know.
Sir.
Wow.
Well, I say that because I'm reading a story about a bartender that is in trouble for serving a guy drinks that later that night shot up his wife.
Oh, shit.
And she's responsible, supposedly, for feeding this guy the drinks when he looked like he's going to be trouble. And I'm asking, if you were a bartender, and I was, if you followed the rules, you wouldn't be serving anybody. I look at a bar and I'm like, oh, yes, are under arrest.
Yeah, I also think it's unfair to expect a bartender, and I'm gonna say especially female to male like that, to cut off some dude because he seems.
I've never cut off someone and it went like with nothing, with no aftermath, you know, and it was never like, hey, sorry, I can't serve you anymore. And they're like, okay, well, I guess I'll get out of here.
I got a lot
and go home and watch, you know, some Netflix. You know, it's usually a deal.
I got to look at myself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for letting me know that I was too drunk, and I appreciate that. And I'm going to pay my tab now and tip you 20%, and I'll see you next time. Like,
I think people should relay it to a little bit of like, if your waiter is like, haven't you had enough?
I've cut people off though. Like, I mean, I think
of
there's
their food.
Oh no. Yeah, right. Okay, gotcha. No, that would be most of the clientele. No, Diet Cokes. I'd rather cut people off from Diet Cokes. We're like the Diet Coke states of America.
Right. You have too much cancer, sir.
Yeah, just don't. You're not allowed to have another.
A bartender in Texas charged with misdemeanor after serving an intoxicated man who later shot and killed 8 people, including his estranged wife.
Nah, you're looking for more people to blame. That's not fair.
Lindsay,
that is not fair. You don't know how alcohol affects people.
Exactly.
You don't know what they're
that's the thing.
through.
If someone's asleep at your bar, no, you shouldn't be serving them. If they're belligerent, no, you shouldn't be serving them. But you don't know. Someone could just have a couple shots. They seem fine, and then they get, you know, they leave and they're super fucked up.
And there are people who are belligerent who had a couple drinks.
Right. Or people that are sober and belligerent.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay Glass, 27, served Spencer Height multiple drinks at local public house in Plano. According to reports, Height had 2 gin and tonics, a shot of vodka, and 2 beers.
That's
crazy. Not a lot.
While at the bar,
I mean, it's a lot.
But it's not like insane amount. If it's, who knows what he was drinking before, I guess.
While at the bar, he took out a large knife and spun it around on the countertop and talked about, quote, taking care of some dirty work.
All right.
Well, then he already had a plan.
And I've seen weirder.
Yeah.
All you did was spin a knife around? That's not weird, believe it or not.
Yeah, you might as well have taken it down and go, that's not a knife, that's a knife.
Wait, what was the quote? What was the quote?
Taking care of some dirty work.
Yeah.
Height was unsteady on his feet and staggered around the bar, running into tables and walking sideways, according to a report, whatever that means. Glass was alarmed enough to text a coworker about it, but nevertheless served him. Height left the bar and murdered 8 people at his wife's home. So I guess she was having a party.
And blame the wife. I mean, why would blame everybody?
Blame the people who made the car he drove.
Yeah. It got him there faster. He could have calmed down if he had to walk.
Wait, he shot them?
He shot.
Okay, so they're blaming the bartender and not the manufacturer of the gun or bullets, or the person who sold him the gun.
Police shot and killed him at the scene.
Oh, well, that's good to hear.
Oh, light at the end of my tunnel.
Yeah.
The code that was broken states a person commits an offense if the person with criminal negligence sells an alcoholic beverage to an habitual drunkard. Well, if the guy comes to your bar every day, he's a habitual drunkard,
That's
right?
your client.
If you come to a cake shop every day, you're a habitual cake eater.
Yeah, you're giving so much responsibility for someone who's...
How about the person who made the liquor and not the person who served it?
Right, or to an intoxicated or insane person.
No, then you give us a cap in general. There is no, if you feel, and let's go by your feeling, because you definitely, what the bartender did is go, I have a feeling that he's going to murder 8 people. A free shot? You earned a free shot.
No, you have to have a sign up. We are not responsible for murders after you leave.
I also want to remind everybody that when we say, hey, my drink was fucking spiked, they go, drinks, wow, you need to really watch your drink. Okay. Who's responsible for what then? How come always somebody else is responsible?
I'm telling you, you look in these bars, I'd arrest the whole lot of them. There's nothing you can do.
What the fuck is a bar? A bar is legal. It's on every corner in a city, but they go, but bartenders, mind the drinks.
I see facial hair. I see that mustache with the curly Q at the end, and I serve you, I should be arrested.
Oh, how about these wine situations where you get on a train and you go from like one winery to another and everyone's getting drunk and ha ha ha.
All right, Chemda, that's just a good time. Okay? Now, listen, we've got to support our sisters that are getting married, and I want to pedal around a city. I want to drink beer and.
When you don't drink in your house, but you feel you have to go out, to me, that's insanity. Right there, you should be.
Oh yeah,
it's a trouble.
Social drinking.
Why do you even have
just
to go
being
out?
In public? Yeah. In general, just a bit red flag.
I thought it was right. I see somebody leave their house and go, "You got to go to work." If they say no, you're under arrest.
What's going on?
I'm looking into you. Stamps.com. That's the way you play it. Don't even go to the post office. You know what I mean? That's what
Unless you're
do.
on your way to work.
Right. Stamps.com brings all the amazing services of the U.S. Post Office right to your computer. Whether you're a small office sending invoices, an online seller shipping out products, or even a warehouse sending thousands of packages a day, Stamps.com can handle it all with ease. And Stamps.com doesn't sigh at you like these people at the post office does.
Nobody tries to cut you in line at Stamps.com.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Nothing. I was going to say something that went against this ad. So I enjoy Stamps.com. And
that's a good way to cover up. Simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send. It's that simple. Right now, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale without any long-term commitment. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in KATG. That's Stamps.com and enter KATG.
I mean, what's faster, going to the post office or going to Stamps.com?
Anything, literally anything is faster than going to the post office.
Game of Thrones, final season. Who's excited?
Wow.
Woo, woo.
Heads will roll.
Woo.
We're on episode 4 of the final season right now.
How many episodes in a season?
I believe this one has
300.
6 episodes.
Oh, I made a rough guess.
So
you were so close.
I know, from the excitement, it just feels like it would be a lot.
I wish more shows only had 6 episodes. I didn't like that when
just so something else can trend.
Every series would be 22 episodes. I'm like, that's how long your story took too. There's a couple filler episodes in there.
With Game of Thrones, it seems like every episode is a movie.
So the third one was this big battle, and people are complaining that it was too dark. And they're absolutely right. It was way too dark. In fact, if you Google this episode...
Wait, visually it's too dark?
Yeah, visually. Oh. Literally too dark. You can't see anything. And that's a trick. It's like when you see an action movie, and it's like the camera's in the fight, It's like... And you can't really see what's happening, but they just tell you at the end who won. It's a fucking trick.
Wait, not emotionally dark.
Correct.
Yeah, I was like, dark? You guys cut each other's heads off every other day.
Yeah, here you couldn't even see that. I had to imagine a rape.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's like a book or something.
Right. So now you have people on the internet fighting each other. It was too dark. It wasn't too dark. It was too dark. Just admit it. Here's what I think.
If that many people think it's too dark, it's too dark.
It's too dark.
It's not like people are going like, what's the brightness of this?
People are saying how to fix your TV so you can watch it properly, how to change the contrast. Then it's too dark. And the cinematographer is coming out saying, this is how I wanted it.
Okay.
You saw what I wanted you to see.
Yeah, but that's a likely excuse, right? When you're trying to cover up, you're like, that's what I meant to do.
Right.
So this could have been a mass oversight by the entire film crew and HBO.
No, it's true. You couldn't see a thing, and it was a trick. And just, and I think people feel they have to say it wasn't too dark because then they're saying they're not as smart as the people that make Game of Thrones.
I think it's, if you make fun of anything that somebody's that into, the lack of perfection is like you're hitting them or something.
Well,
it's a little too precious.
Nah, I don't know. This last episode, I'm not making this up. This is absolutely true. 17 minutes and 49 seconds into the show.
Yeah, yesterday's episode?
Sunday's episode. You had if you remember, the Queen of the Dragons, the Mother of Dragons.
Who doesn't remember her?
Is celebrating after the big fight. Everybody's praising Jon Snow. They're not really praising her. You see her giving the eyes to Jon Snow.
Okay.
In front of her, is a Starbucks cup. No joke.
No, there isn't.
Shut your eyeballs.
No, there isn't.
Yes, there is.
I don't believe you.
A Starbucks cup.
I don't believe it.
Let me see. For real.
Right in front of Khaleesi.
I still don't believe it.
No. Oh,
And I never will.
somebody's buying a tall Starbucks cup.
The choreographer or the cinematographer says he knows the right number of Starbucks cups because he's the one who filmed it.
Wow. That's weird.
Now, what do you,
Why are you even on set with a coffee?
right?
Like,
I'm just going to put it here for now.
Aren't you busy? You have to have some coffee in between takes? Like, how does it even get on set?
Well, Khaleesi could have said, "Oh, I didn't realize we were filming. I think I left a cup here." So she took it down, going, "I hope nobody will notice. I don't want to embarrass myself."
Why don't you never know who left it there?
I got a feeling it's her. It's somebody else that puts it in front of you, the actor, and you just left it. It's not my place to move it.
I mean, in all fairness, it's a made-up world.
So anything can happen.
Maybe they did have Starbucks.
You're okay
we
with-
don't know.
Maybe that's where the mermaid on the logo came from.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe
She's flying around on dragons.
you have a problem with coffee.
Yeah, I mean, really, is this what we're suspending our belief for? She couldn't have got coffee to go.
That's where all those names come from. These weirdos trying to write names on Starbucks. Cersei is Kathy. Tyrion is Bob.
It'd be great if the Starbucks, if you zoom in and it is one of the characters' names, they insist
Spelled
upon
out
it.
with a Sharpie.
I'm Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen, first of my name, Mother of Dragons, Grande Frappuccino aficionado.
Oh,
I'm here to take names.
wow, you thought about that.
He's a thinker.
This episode was ridiculous
Okay, so I haven't watched it, but last night I watched half the episode, and
because the lover wanted to.
yeah, and I said, it's
How do you know when to make your move if you're watching something they actually give a shit about?
it just works out.
Seems like pussy takes over, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And then I was like, I want to see the rest of the episode, and he was like, no, let's go to bed, and I was like, but
You
I'm
made
like
me
halfway in.
right.
It's a soap opera.
Sure.
Isn't everything?
I just realized that watching it. I was like, even though just the way they were speaking to each other and they're like this, they're in love. I don't want to ruin it for people, but everyone knows, right?
Everybody
they're in
knows.
love and they're cousins. Oh, sorry.
Whose cousin? Oh, God. Oh, the queen, the mother of dragons, and Jon Snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, it's such a soap opera.
It was a different time.
Didn't someone die and come back?
Everybody does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this Days of Our Lives?
But you're telling me there was tea?
Yeah,
I hear you.
exactly.
I saw there's a new Toy Story movie coming out. Toy Story
Ooh,
4.
Just what I was looking forward to
See?
in life.
And there's also a new Chucky movie, a Child's Play remake.
I tried watching recently Incredibles 2.
Okay.
Ooh, somebody dropped the ball.
You didn't like that?
What the fuck? I didn't even make it through like half of it. I was just like, this is a sitcom and they have superpowers. How much can you watch that dude be upset about his beautiful life and her being like, I'm a woman in the world? What the fuck are we watching?
Right, but you hate all good things. So,
Oh, I forgot.
Right.
Sorry.
If we went through your movie list, you're wrong. So know that it's great.
Incredibles 2 is great.
Yes.
Anyone else? Incredible 2?
Anyone else? The world, Henry.
No. The world thought Avatar was amazing and magical.
Did y'all see Us?
That's too new for me.
The horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, hated it.
You did?
Yeah, the thing with horror movies.
He hates everything.
The thing with horror movies, that's not true. The thing with horror movies is that they don't have to make sense, and somehow everybody's cool with it.
Yeah.
That movie makes no sense. That's important
let's
to me.
go back to the dragons again.
Yes.
Just want to go back to Game of Thrones for 1 second.
But you saw the dragons being born. It doesn't take much from me. You just have to show me something.
Okay, gotcha.
Give me the tiniest bit, and I'll accept
I
it.
understand.
You know. Anyway, in the Child's Play poster, they show Woody from Toy Story all eaten up, and Chucky's walking past them, and it says there's a new sheriff in town. Woody, of course, is a sheriff. I enjoyed that. I'll tell you something I don't enjoy, and I hate to tell you this, but I know I'd want to know for whatever reason. The voice of Winnie the Pooh, also the voice of Tigger and Mickey Mouse.
All the same person.
The wife is claiming that he raped her.
I believe it.
They were married from 2001 to 2011, rapes between 2011 and 2018.
I don't know. Are we supposed to be surprised?
I mean, have you heard Winnie the Pooh talk?
No, this just in. A man raped someone.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Why so bluey? You're a rapist, Pooh.
But he does things we care about. Oh yeah, he still raped someone. I don't know.
But his voice.
Right. But he was
what
part
we
of
do without his voice.
He was part of my childhood. Yeah, he still raped someone.
Who was it that said? Was it D.L. Hughley who was like, okay, well, when they were referring back to the Michael Jackson thing of like if we should boycott his music, they're like, well, we still sing the national anthem, and the people that wrote that was pretty messed up. And I was like, I don't sing the national anthem. Who's singing the national anthem?
Maybe we should stop doing that also.
Yeah, definitely.
The woman also accuses him of abusing the family's puppy by leaving him outside for hours in a metal bucket on a 100-degree day to punish him for urinating indoors. So if the people hurting doesn't bother you, it's the dog. You ever see a horror movie? The audience doesn't really get upset until the dog is killed. It's like, not the dog. The people are dying, but not the dog. Oh, well. Christopher Robin. That's the latest movie, too. So this guy had a recent work.
Wow. He still has a job?
I'm going to go with yes.
You think we're working with rapists sometimes?
I'm going to go with sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm getting the feeling.
What's funny is people will believe that your coworker will rob you, your spouse will rob you, but not rape.
Right.
No.
A forensic scientist who testified against Bill Cosby will be a key witness against Harvey Weinstein when he stands trial for rape and sex assault.
Wait, will you say the beginning of that again?
A psychiatrist who testified against Bill Cosby
Against him, okay.
will also testify against Harvey Weinstein. So that doesn't look good for Harvey Weinstein.
That's really weird. Is that I don't understand that. Is that the psychiatrist that they went to that they admitted stuff to is on the stand?
Or was giving them some sort of psychiatric evaluation, maybe?
Barbara Ziv will be used to explain why victims often delay in disclosing a sexual assault.
Duh.
And factors that determine whether and how a victim will continue to communicate and or interact with her attacker after an assault.
I've been there, done that. I've communicated with the guy who raped me after. I called him. I wanted to see him. I wanted to hang out with him because you want to convince yourself that everything's okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell anyone about my rape for like 5 years after it was done.
The Temple University School of Law professor is necessary as a witness in the high-profile case against the alleged film producer to dispel several myths about sexual assault that continue to be prevalent even in today's society.
But what is she wearing?
Right. She's covered. You can't even see her.
Right,
you just hear her voice.
That's good. I really don't want to be distracted.
There's 2 Weinstein accusers that took him to court. Obviously, there's,
right.
tens
or
and
that
tens.
files or that charges were able to be filed.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
Right.
It's weird that people think that it doesn't happen if you don't say it right away.
Yeah.
Like, I guess think about when you were ever bullied. You don't want to tell anyone. You're very embarrassed. You hope to make it go away or that it doesn't happen again or that you can just kind of get over it super quick like it didn't happen.
Think about anything in life that you're ashamed or embarrassed or wish it hadn't happened. Like, you don't talk about it as much as you...
Yeah, and there's...
And when do you have that conversation? Like, what dinner conversation?
You're like, no, yep, got raped this weekend. How about you guys?
You're right. You know, when you say, like, how people don't want to believe the rape when it came late. But when I said, I didn't say I was bullied until after high school, and nobody said, yeah, doubt it. Maybe you're remembering wrong. No, they know I was, and I decided not to say anything until I'm 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it embarrassed your masculinity or whatever, your ego. I mean, it does what it does. Bullying does that. That's why we call it bullying. And rape does that. That's why we call it rape. I don't know. Do we need bigger dictionaries?
Smaller.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's a court case, and, you have to tell 12 dummies why somebody would wait and not report a rape.
Yeah, but I mean, this is all, you want to call ignorance on everybody, but this is all how we set up the society. So I feel like we do need a little bit patience with that because people don't know about rape. Because rape seems like still to a lot of people, like people jumping out of the bushes, like nobody that you know, like the monster that lives next door, this either a hidden monster who like all of a sudden we uncover that he's a serial rapist or like, ew, he was always creepy anyway and obviously he's raping people. But it's never like, that's my brother.
Well, Hamdi, you saw the documentary that I made. Hello. It's not called Burning Daylight anymore, by the way. It's called Special-ish.
1 second.
Yep,
1 second.
go ahead. Thank you.
It's going to be a long meeting today.
And also, not doing homespun anymore, so we're going to need one.
Very good.
Thank you. Right. And my name is actually... in the documentary, I do this, not just a spoiler alert, folks, I do this radio show. And the guys asked me, so you walked all this way and you never been raped? And I say, nope, not since that first time 10 years ago. Thanks for asking. Well, what they said was, you've never been raped or murdered, which leads you to believe that they think the likelihood of me being murdered is the same as me being raped. And it's...
Or they're just being silly.
Well, yeah, as they were, because they thought that there would be no way that I would answer like yes to that question. When in reality, the answer was yes, you know?
Right.
And then also... the whole idea when I was doing the walk of people being scared of you being out in the middle of nowhere, it's like, what happened to me was in a safe space, you know? I mean, at least in my hometown anyways. Right. So it's not like always by a stranger. Like, it's much more likely that you're going to be harmed by someone that you know, or in some place where you feel safe or feel secure. Like, now I'm just going to make everyone scared all the time. But that's just the reality of the situation.
I think we are scared all the time. You hear people talking to each other like, oh, I have a date, be careful, or I have a date, here's the person I'm going to. We are scared all the time. It's just normal language to us. These are all fear-based words. This is all, oh, how could we Tinder? Like, oh, you're going to that guy's place. Just saying you're going to that guy's place, like there's already negativity in that.
Or putting the boob pic out. Like my roommate Brittany immediately texted me and was like, make sure you like take your Instagram off of your Tinder and like try not to post where you are. Like just being very concerned about me posting, because I post where my shows are and I post where I'm at a lot on the stories. And now I have a 3-day delay. So if you see me on there, don't stalk me.
Oh, I wait till 3 days so you don't know where I'm at any time.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You can do that, really?
I don't do that, but it's a thought, you know?
I don't know why I had to follow
I
that.
know, right? Why did I do that?
But is that true?
Can I call your bluff? You're trying to feel safe? No, we need the truth.
Do you follow your rapist? Like in any way, do you follow him on social media? Do you know what he's up to?
He's married to my best friend from high school's sister, but there was a group of them. There were 4. I only know who one of them is, really.
Do you have an urge to tell her?
They know.
Oh, they do know.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where they don't want to believe you.
Right.
You know.
Are you guys friends?
No.
Okay.
This is a quote, and I don't know if this is because you had multiple people rape you that one rape, and so I don't know if it's the same guy, but this crazy quote from your story is that you ran into this one of these guys.
That was actually a different guy. Yeah, I ran into him. That was before I ever told. So I had not really told anyone about it, and that was so this event happened right before I finally was like, okay, so it kind of gave me validation, because one of the things that you do and the reason that you don't tell people about it is because you want to pretend like it didn't happen, and you want to believe that it didn't happen. And
because you want to believe that you're stronger than this story that sounds like you're just a piece of shit. Yeah.
And like you had no control and that you're all those things. So, cut to, I'm living in LA at the time. I'm like 20 years old. So the rape has happened like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm back in Nashville visiting family. I'm in downtown Nashville. I'm with some friends at a bar, and I just like make eye contact with this guy across the bar. And he is one of the guys who raped me. He's the one who gave me a ride home the next morning. And this story actually gets much darker with what he made me do to give me a ride home. But anyways, I recognize him. And all this shit is stuff that I'd never, ever told anyone, and like totally blocked out pretty much. And I'd been having panic attacks for at least like a year before this. And so I see him, and I'm immediately like, okay, we have to go. And right when I was walking out the door, like something in me was like, turn around. And so I just turned around and I went back to him, and I went up to him in this bar, and I was like, hey. And he was like, hey. And I was like, I don't know if you remember this, but you raped me. And he was like, yeah, I did. And he admitted it to me. And then we had a whole conversation about it. And then he started getting angry and frustrated. I said, do you understand that you've affected every like relationship I'll ever have? And he was starting to get frustrated, and he was like, hey, I was just third in line. And then the last thing I said to him was, I hope if you ever have a daughter, she never goes through what you put me through. And then I just like,
did he ever respond to that, or did you not wait for that response?
I don't, it's all a bit of a blur. Like I remember bits and pieces of it, and I kind of just remember it like getting angry. Like he was starting to get very frustrated and agitated at my combativeness. And then that was like the last thing that I said to him, and just walked out.
Was anybody around, or was it one-on-one?
It was one-on-one.
It's such a weirdly satisfying, I imagine.
Oh, it was incredibly satisfying, because then it was like, okay, I haven't been making this thing up in my head for the last 5 years. So then I told my boyfriend at the time, and he was like, what the fuck? And he luckily had went to therapy like his whole life. Like his parents were very open to that. So he was like, I really think you should talk to someone. And then I went to luckily had an amazing therapist, and it changed my life. I went to her like for 3 years and did a lot of like intense psychotherapy, and it was like, yeah, it was life changing.
Yeah, it's really,
and it's still an upkeep. It's still something that I have to keep up with.
It's such a violation. It's like if you even walk into your house and imagine like the knife is put somewhere else, and you know where you put your knife. The agitation and the panic that that somebody was in your space, and you know somebody was in your space. This is your body. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
very
and that was
hard.
the first time I'd ever had sex.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't until some time ago when it hit me why people defend these rapists sometimes. Men, I can understand. When women would do it, I would think, well, why are you doing that? And then I'd look into these women's stories I'm reading, and you realize the woman was raped but doesn't want to acknowledge that she was raped, so this other rape didn't happen. Am I making sense?
It's a little tough to follow because you're not...
Like the man's like, well, I'm going to not say this rape happened because it makes men look like assholes. But why is a Pamela Anderson, for example, defending a Harvey Weinstein out of nowhere? And
you were confused why some women defend.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I look into it. Pamela Anderson was gang raped. But that's a way not to deal with that. Just assume that it doesn't happen at all. And I see that a lot.
Well, look at what we do as parents. You know, we know what it's like to be bullied. We know the look on a child's face because we've seen it in the mirror. We know what it feels like. We know the change that happens when you were either raped or had regular sex for the first time. There are some parents that are in tune with their kid. They can tell when they start being sexually active. They can tell when they're lying or doing like some drugs, casual drugs, as opposed to other drugs. And you can tell that your kid is drinking. You can smell it. But we refuse to see it because, and we know that because we went through it. And then when we become adults, we deny our children the fact that they're going through the same thing. We tell them they're not. We look at them and go like, stop being a pussy, or like snitches get stitches, or whatever version of that. We go like,
or you just don't want to deal. And it's also because, you know, most of our parents don't have the capability to deal. Like they weren't taught those skills, you know, like I don't blame my parents.
They have the same capability. They just don't have the same interest and thrive to like get through that because it's too embarrassing.
But I also think it's very generational. Like for me, anyways, the way my parents dealt with it, to me, it was very generational. Like it was just one of those things where you just want to make it better, but like therapy, it was not part of that, you know, like reliving and going through and acknowledging that what happened wasn't part of that. It was like, okay, what do we do from
It's more
there?
like, let's make sure Jessica knows she's pretty. Let's make sure that we love her, that we only say positive things about her.
That we give her all the things that she wants. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
And also, in addition, like I had like a short dress on and we'd been drinking and I was hanging out with older people. So like all these things that people, again, what was she wearing or whatever, all those things that you convince yourself that somehow it was your fault. Oh, and one of the main guys who raped me, like we had made out just a few weeks before, like, you know, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Consensual.
Thank you. Consensually. So of course, like that adds to it as well. Like, were you asking for a thing? But then in hindsight, as a 34-year-old woman looking back, and I was 15 and they were in their early 20s, and then the way the whole situation happened, it was like, no.
The thing is you can be asking for it. If I go to your hotel, yes, I am asking for you to fuck me. Then when I get there, I'm still asking for you to fuck me. But then when I look at your dick and it looks like you haven't washed it in 10 days, I stopped asking for you to fuck me. And then you can't go, but you already said. So that can't be a reason to rape me.
Right.
You just...
or if you're like an unconscious teenager, you know.
I mean, that is...
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, the excuses are weird. You know, when it's a work thing and you have Harvey Weinstein asking you to his hotel room under the guise of work, then it's obviously not work. And you hear somebody say, well, why would you go to his hotel room? But then again, if you have me going to that podcast convention in L.A. and Andrea's with us and we're in somebody's house.
You have every right to rape her.
Well, what would you think if you heard that story? Why did she go?
Right.
On a business trip in the same house with her boss? No, you don't believe these made-up excuses you're hearing. And Archimedes Screw, who recently won a lifetime of Keith and the Girl VIP, is going back to old Keith and the Girl shows. And he makes a note of it on the forums and, you know, follow if you're curious about what old shows he's into. But you see more and more, he's like, great, another fucking guest with a rape story. Oh, look at this, another guest. And like, it's news to him, is what I'm saying. I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying it's news.
Yeah. Also, the short skirt thing, it's very interesting to blame fashion because what we see on on TV or like in magazines is that short skirts are high fashion and that off the shoulder things are sexy and sexy is elite, you know? And then when we say, what was she wearing? It's like, well, you asked the same thing on the runway, which is very strange.
Or I was on the cheerleading squad. Like, I'm wearing a fucking mini skirt on the
school
basketball court and at the pep rally and I go everywhere else. But now that it's after hours and I'm at a party,
it's
now
school
all of a
approved.
sudden it's...
Oh, in Catholic schools, you haven't gotten the hint that we're using that in porn? Stop. Figure something else out. I don't think Jesus said plaid skirts. Come on.
I mean, I feel like he'd be into them, but...
Got to check out those 4 Gospels. It's all in those 4. On the show Jeopardy, you are not allowed to make some number amounts for your bet. There's a couple numbers for dollar amounts you are not allowed to make.
666.
666.
1313.
You may not use 666, $666.
420.
You may not use 69.
9.
You may not use 14.
What?
Which is associated with white supremacy. You can't bet $14.
Right.
Refers to the number of words in a white supremacist document. David Lane, died in prison in 2007, wrote, "We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children." That is 14 words, and people use that as code. So you also can't use $88, which refers to another paper he wrote called the 88 Precepts, a set of rules and guidelines on white supremacy. He wrote that while he was in jail. Also, I've heard 88 stands for HH, you know, the 8th letter for
And are you done with that list?
I guess.
Are you done with that list?
Hold on. So
sorry.
one more. So in 1488, 14 and 88 together. So 69, 666, 1488, and 1488.
You missed one.
What's that?
We learned this from your dad.
Oh, apparently 86.
86
is the new 69, folks. You could use 420, and I think that's because Alex Trebek has cancer and he's going to die.
He's high.
What do you think of that? That's very odd. Like,
Okay. If why would you bet $14? So
Yeah, why would you bet any of those amounts to be like...
So then you can't.
I guess because
don't care.
it's a distraction that they're not interested in.
Right.
The same reason why there's not a 13th floor on like half the sky rises
That's
in
stupid.
Manhattan.
Right. And
Like,
the number
that's a real thing.
The number of times I bungee jumped off buildings and broke my ass. It's like, motherfuckers, count the
Alright.
numbers. At least on the outside.
Well, people who take that seriously, which I get it, we're doing it for people who take it seriously, and it has seeped in so much that it's like, God, we can't take it out, right? But those people who work on the 14th floor,
They know it's the 13th,
do
right?
they? Are we enabling some weird shit? Do you go like, nah, can't die here? We renamed it.
How many
Right.
kids do you have? 14? Oh, because I only see that.
Or
14.
is there a mini floor between the two? No. Okay.
They just make a storage,
Just a thought.
a horizontal storage unit.
That's a John
Like a John
Malkovich movie.
Malkovich? Okay, yeah, that's what I was remembering. Sorry, things are just blurring.
All right, Jessica, I'm going to go for it, but who the fuck knows if this is true? JessicaWatkinsComedy.com is your website.
That's right.
All right. We did it. We did it. Don't forget the Great American Novel is available at the Keith and the Girl store. And Keith and the Girl VIP features every week a new show with Bianca Brady.
And I wasn't here for the last Bianca show, but man, I am a fan. I heard you and her talking. She is so pleasant. She like eases you out of out of your words. So you'll be like, oh, obviously this is the thing that I thought of on the show. This is the thing that I'm thinking now. And she's like, what about this? And you're like, yeah, fuck that guy because of this. You like start talking so much because she has such a gentle voice.
Well, some questions I didn't even, think of necessarily, where I'm pretending I'm my ex, rating my dad, and she says, if you didn't have a show, would you still be doing this?
I thought your answer was interesting. I thought it would be the same. It's not.
It's not necessarily the same. Yeah.
Yeah. I also learned a lot about myself. So, Andrea's so satisfied with this learning.
Well,
so happy.
Well, we told you this stuff, and you're just coming around. But you're right. It's Bianca and the way she speaks. That's right. The more things with honey, they say. Okay.
So Paul Huber was here, and Max Cohen, and apparently I was very aggressive with them. So Paul's like, oh, I like my mom. I get along with her, all this stuff, and I was just like, so your mama's boy. And I just started on him. And I didn't realize how much that's happening. Andrea, calm down.
All right, everybody. Thank you.
Aggressive.
You're losing your mind.
Very, right?
No, I hate when people say people. No, here's the word I've gotten recently: feisty.
Oh,
Yeah,
What words can we say?
Not feisty.
How about opinionated?
Oh, love that. Gets my pussy wet.
I say powerful.
Yeah, there we go.
You give an opinion, I go, you're so powerful.
You're powerful. Powerful woman.
I'm really listening to you. And as a dude, that becomes very powerful.
That's a good one, actually. I'd fall for it.
After anything my girlfriend says, I say, a lot to take in. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you tomorrow.